Hey, how's it going? Chris here from 99scloud.com. In this video, I will be setting up a development environment that includes the command line shell, NodeJS, Visual Studio Code, and React on macOS. So if you are interested, stay tuned. Hi and welcome back. Let's have a look at the agenda so that we know what we are actually installing. First, we will set up the terminal. Then we will install Homebrew. After that, we will install the latest version of Bash through Homebrew. Then we will install the Vim command line text editor. Then we will configure .bashrc so that we have colorful folders. Then we will install Node.js. After that, we will install Yarn, which is a package manager. Then we will install Visual Studio Code. Then we will set up the VS Codes command line command so that we can open application projects right from the console. And last but not least, we will add an extension for use with React. So let's get started. Okay, let's start with our first task. We will get the terminal window and add it into our Docker. So for this, we just click onto the Finder. Then we will click onto Applications. And in here, you can find this utilities folder. And if you double click on this, then you will find the terminal, and you can then drag the terminal into the Docker so that you have it present. Okay, in the second step, we will be installing Homebrew, which is a Linux packaging manager for Mac. So with it, you can install Linux applications on your Mac. For us, the most important thing is that we can install command line commands, which we can then use on our shell. So in order to do that, we will open Google Chrome or whatever browser you have. Then you can just type Homebrew Mac. And then you can click on this brew.sh website. And here, the only thing we need to install Homebrew is we just need to click this button to the right, which will copy and paste this command line command into our clipboard. And from here, we can open the terminal window and then just paste the command into here and press enter to run it. Now I have Homebrew already installed, so I will not install it, but for you it should just run through, and at the end you should have it installed, so there won't be any further questions which Homebrew will be asking. Now that Homebrew has been installed, we can install the newest version of Bash. In order to install an application through Homebrew, we can just type brew install and then the application name. So we will install Bash, and then we can press enter, and this will install Bash for you. In my case, I have it installed already, but in your case, it might run a little bit until the installation has completed. Now that we have installed Bash, we can also install Vim. Vim is a command line text editor with which we can edit our .bashrc file that we will create. The .bashrc file is the configuration of our terminal, but we will go into that a little bit later. So let's install Vim. We can just type brew install Vim to install it. And in my case, I have installed it already, so it might run a little bit quicker, but in your case, again, it might take a while until it is installed. So see you after that. Now that we have installed Vim, we can create our .bashrc file. So you need to make sure that you are in your home directory. If you are not sure if you are in your home directory, you can just type cd and then the tilde sign and slash, and this will bring you into your home directory. In my case, it's /user/chstrong. So in the home directory, you can type vim.bashrc, and this will now open up this text editor. Now, in order to add something into the text editor, we can type the I key, which will bring us into this insert mode. And once we are in this insert mode, then we can add the configuration. I will just copy and paste it. You can just do this the normal way with Apple and C and Apple and V. And then in order to get out of the insert mode, you can press the ESC key. Now you can find these commands on my website on 99scloud.com. The link is in the comment section below this video, so you don't need to type everything from scratch, but of course you could do that as well. So what are we doing here? So the first variable, ps1, is what will be displayed on the terminal. So here we basically say we want to have the current folder printed and then a $sign, and after the $sign here you would type your commands. You will see later how this looks like. And these two commands are used to display the folders in blue so that we can distinguish more easily between folders and files. Okay, so once we have done that, we can type $WQ, which means write and quit. And if we press enter, then the bashrc file has been created. By default, Mac uses zsh as shell. So we will need to type bash in order to get into our bash shell. So let's do that now. And as you can see here, we have now this tilde, which means we are in our home folder, and we have this $, and then we can type our command. So here we could type ls, for example, to list all the files. And as you can see, the folders are now displayed in blue, and the other files are displayed in gray. In this next step, we will install NodeJS. NodeJS is a JavaScript runtime, or also package manager. It contains a command called npm, with which you can install JavaScript packages. So let's open the browser window, and here we can just type Node.js, and then we can click on the nodejs.org website. Here we can just click on this recommended for most users button. This will download Node.js. Then we can just click on the package, or you can find it in your downloads folder. And here we can click on continue, continue, agree, install. Then we can specify our password, and that will install it. This will just run for a minute. Okay, and that was it. Then we can click on to close and move to bin. When we now go back into the terminal window, I will just close the browser window and we type npm --version, then we should see the output with the version, and with this we know that npm is working and Node has been installed. Now that we have installed NodeJS and the npm command, we can install Yarn. We can do that by typing npm install yarn -g. Yarn is another package manager for JavaScript, which is a little bit more modern. And by defining the -g flag, we will say that we want to install Yarn globally. When we install a package globally through npm, it means that it will be available as normal command line command. So here we can just type enter, and this will install it. Oh, if you see this error, then it means that you will need to use sudo to run it. So we can just say sudo npm install yarn -g. So let's do this again. Then I need to specify my password, and that should then install it. So as you can see, it has been installed without further issues. And with this, Yarn is installed, and we can move on to the next task. Next, we will be going to install Visual Studio Code. Visual Studio Code is a programming environment with which you can write code. So let's open the Google Chrome again. Here we will just go back to Google. Then we can type Visual Studio Code. Then we can go on to this codes.visualstudio.com website. And here we can just download it. So just click the button, and that will download it. This might take a while. Now that it is downloaded, you can just click on the zip file. This will unzip it. Then in your downloads folder, you should see this Visual Studio Code icon, and you can just drag and drop it onto the applications folder. And that should have copied it into the applications folder down here. I see that I had this already. And once it's in your applications folder, you can just drag and drop it into the toolbar. The next step is to enable the code command line commands that comes with Visual Studio Code, so that we can open application folders directly from the console. We will see later how this works. So open Visual Studio Code. Once Visual Studio Code is open, you can just click onto the View menu and then click onto Command Palette. And here you can type shell, and then you should see this shell command, install codes command in pass. So just click on this, and this will install the codes command into your pass so that you have it available. Once this is done, we can also install the extension that we need to use with React applications. So we can just click onto Codes up in the menu and then go on to Preferences. And under Preferences, you will have a menu item called Extensions. And if you open that, then you will see all these extensions. And what we need is ES7 React Redux. So you should see it here. And you will have an install button here. I have already installed it. So you can just click on to install, and that will install this extension. And once this is completed, everything should be set up. In this last step, we will test if we can create a React application and if we can use it with Visual Studio Code. So in order to create a new React application, we can type npx create React app, and then the name of the app, we will just call this React app, enter. This will take a while to install, so I will be back once done. Okay, I'm back. Our React application has been installed. So in order to verify this, we can just type ls on the command line. And here you can see that this React app folder has been created. So now we can just go into this React app folder, the React app, and here we can type code dot. The dot means that we want to open the current directory in Visual Studio Code. So if we press enter, then Visual Studio Code should open in the current directory. And as you can see, it did that. So here, if we open the src directory, then we see all the files. We can see our app.js, and we can see our index.js and so on. And this concluded the last step. This brings us to the end of this video. If you liked it, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing if you want to see more content like this. Have a good one and see you in the next video.